Hey guys, it's Pointe here, and so today I have a special video. I bet this is going to be pretty long because this is the beginner's guide to pointe shoes. Congratulations, girls, because you just got your shoes, and I'm going to express everything that I think is extremely important for someone who's getting their pointe shoes to know. First thing we're going to talk about is the fitting, because the fitting is the first step into all of this, basically. So I have a couple of my things here to kind of help us out in the explanation. Okay. And of course, the most important thing is my pointe shoes here. So these ones are, let's just give a little insight on these. The ones I have right now are a little bit broken in, so excuse all of this. They're pretty old. Had these for about a month maybe, and so we're gonna get new ones. The first thing we're gonna talk about is the fitting. Of course, you should wear your ties to your fitting, because it will, first of all, not dirty the inside of the shoe. Second of all, it'll make it easier to slip on the shoe, I believe, and things like that. The way that the shoe should feel when you wear it, and your fitters will tell you this, is that it should be, your toe should be flat down. Not like this. Not like this. Not crunched up or anything like that. Perfectly straight with pressure. Like, you should feel the tip, but you should be able to wiggle a little bit. So you should be able to kind of have some feeling in the toe area. You want to also make sure that the heel isn't too tight. Like, if you feel like it's kind of pulling really hard on the back, that's not real good either. You should mention it. And then again, anything that's wrong with the shoe, please tell your fitter, because I know it's kind of embarrassing saying, is this right? Is this wrong? Why is it like this? Because you think that you kind of sound a little bit dumb, or you don't want to say anything about it or anything like that. But they're there to help you, and honestly, it's their job to sit there and help you with your shoes. So let them assist you. It's really important to let them help you out. The next thing I'm going to talk about is the parts of a pointe shoe. I do have a video on that already if you want to check it out, but I am going to say everything that was said in that video plus more here. So first of all, we're going to go with the ribbons and the elastics, which is the basic part of the shoe that you sew on yourself. I will get to sewing later on in the video. I will not be showing me sewing shoes yet because I'm getting new shoes tomorrow. So hopefully I can record a video on sewing pointe shoes when I get my new ones, so I can start fresh and show you exactly what I do. Now, the parts of the pointe shoes start over here. This is the platform, which is where you stand up on. So this is an extremely important part of pointe shoe. You really don't want to do anything that'll cause bumpiness, unevenness, anything like that. You don't want to do that. When you are going up on pointe, sometimes the platform can be seen as kind of slippery. So people use rosin powder. I believe I have a video on that too. I'll check that out and put a link in the description. To anything I say that I have a video for, I will be putting it in the description, okay? Thank you. And so you kind of slip and slide a lot if you go on the platform. So rosin's really good for that, just putting that out there. The next part is the box region, which is here. This is where basically your toes are supported. When you are breaking them in, you do want to break them in the like here area and things like that, and here too, but never here. I mean, you could step on it and stuff like that, but you don't want to soften here and stuff like this that holds your toes up. You really want to be careful in softening this up, because you don't want to soften it too much, as in your shoes become dead before you even finish breaking them in. So you want to be real careful with that. Mine are like, my box is already squished down. I told you they're old, so this is not really a good representation of a new shoe. One thing I do want to say here is that your shoe, the box of your shoe does come like this. Kind of, well, I can't show it that well, but it comes a lot like this, like rounded. And so dancers step on it or squish it to make it flat, like how your foot really is, rather than like it bulging out like that. So that's also pretty interesting about the box. Now we have the sole and shank. So this is the sole and shank region right here. Some dancers like to pop out the sole. That I am one of those dancers. The shank, I popped it out from here and up, but then, as I said that these shoes are very weak now, I glued them, and I glued the sides down to try and make it strong again. So that's why it's not all the way out anymore. You can 3/4 your shank, which is cutting basically at a certain point to kind of add some physio type to your arch. But that's normally for performances. Like, people don't really do that for class because it's not real appropriate for class, as in the sense like it's not like that great to be doing that. Like, it's normally just to show off your arch in a performance, but you really don't want to push on your shoe that much so nothing happens to it, because it's your baby for a month before it dies. The next thing that I want to say is that over here is kind of like the vamp. This is the vamp right here. There are different shapes. There's a U, there's a V, which is what mine is, I believe, right? I think I have a U shape somewhere. I'm gonna get my U shape. Wait, is this a U shape vamp? Okay, I think that this is a kind of like a U shape kind of thing, you can see. And this one's like more of a V, like that. And I like the V a lot better, like the nice kind of shape for me. It looks really good on my feet, so that's why I'm saying that. Another thing would be this part right here. This is the wings, this region right here. This comes really, really hard, and then what I do is I put water and I squish it with my hands, and then from being extremely hard, it goes to this. Nice and formable to your feet. Then again, I do have, sorry to gross you out, but I do have bumps. I have like, my toe is a little to the side, so my bone is kind of out, and this needs to be expanded for that to accommodate my foot. So that was necessary, And another thing is that in here, this nail, some people take it out to be able to, push open, oop, ripped it, to push open their, oh, God bless, I actually got it open. Yeah, to kind of push open the area a lot more. So basically this is where I broke it too, because I feel like it allows you to move a little bit more like freely in the shoe, and that's really important. You know when I said they were dead? Yeah, I meant it. They are dead. Okay, let's just stop playing with this. Let's stop toying with it. But it's okay. I could toy with it because I'm getting more tomorrow. I'm excited for my new shoes. I'm going off topic. Okay, let's get back onto topic. Now, another thing I want to talk about is sizing. So, sizes are like different than street shoes. Totally different. Some shoes go by double-digit numbers, like an 8 would be like a 37. Some go with smaller numbers, like an 8 would be a 5, which in this case for my Grishkos. Or it can just range from things like that. They also have a size, well, not a size, but kind of like a measure of the hardness of a shank. If it's hard, then it will probably last a bit longer. If it's soft, then it'll probably be a little more, easy to bend. But it all depends on you. Since if this is a beginner watching this video, the first shoe that you should get is probably, I would say, if you don't have very archy feet or very strong feet, probably a soft shank, because it won't be a problem. You can get other ones, whichever's comfortable, but I made the mistake of getting a medium shank on one of my shoes, and those lasted 3 weeks. And so it just depends on your foot, and you learn these things through trial and error. And I'm going to talk about the quest of finding your perfect shoe later on this video as well. So that's also very important. So the sizing, they also have a width for the box. Like some go by numbers, some go by X's. Mine is a 4X, so it goes by X's. And it goes from like 1X to 5X's or 6X, something like that. Or some go by numbers, some go by things, letters. There's like one of them. Not that one. One of my shoes goes by ABC. I should have brought those down. Maybe I could have showed you this stuff because like now it's like far away and like I don't want to get it. Like, okay, well, we're gonna pull these down from the rack. Okay, I put all my shoes. I hang them up, but some might say like C, like as the width. Normally, the way they are placed. Oh, you see, my feet were the same size for both of these shoes. This one is a 4.5. This one is a 5. Sizing varies, but they can be the same, like, kinda. Shoe. Now, this one wasn't that bad, actually. What the hell? Sorry, this one's not that broken, but I guess. Whatever. So, you see how there's different kinds of sizing for every single, like, brand and such. And so, it just really depends on your feet, and normally fitters can help you out with this. Like, you don't need to worry about this stuff, but, you know, just a little advisory. Next thing I want to talk about is sewing. For your first or second, from your first to maybe second pair, you should probably give it, if they do it, when you buy your shoes, sometimes they offer to sew it for you at the place where you get them fitted. You should probably do that for the first couple times until you feel like you are like ready to take a responsibility for your own shoes and you think you've watched enough YouTube videos or something like that. Like you just feel like you're necessarily ready to consider sewing your own shoes, you know. So it's important to think about that. But that's something that you should do. But sewing, I'll post a video tomorrow. Probably I'll tape it tomorrow about sewing because I'm getting my new shoes, as I mentioned before, and I'm gonna also recommend something to you if you are planning on sewing your shoes for the first time, which is not always horrible. You can go by a video, but it may take you a while on the first time. Like my first try was it probably took me an hour because I was so scared to mess up that I wouldn't stick the needle in the shoe until I placed it correctly. I was like so lost, but feeling lost is all a part of it. So, you know, I recommend the stitch kit, which comes with 75 meters of string. I don't know. But you should never sew your shoe with regular thread, which is why I recommend the stitch kit or using the white floss because it has a waxy cover over it. So when you sew it, it's more strengthened. Let me show you. Let's see. I'm getting a new stitch kit because I ran out of like thread, so I just used regular thread for the first time just to use it. And this happened the first day of dance class. It was supposed to be like this. This was sewn down, and then it all ripped off. So that's just a little suggestion from me. If you want to reinforce it, you should definitely go over it with floss or the stitch kit from Bunheads, which is very compact, and I keep it always in my dance bag. And I'll get to the dance bag later on. I'm just going to keep procrastinating in this video. Okay, now I'm going to talk about the process of finding the right shoe. This is really scary to a lot of dancers. This is a long dang video. Okay, it's really scary to a lot of dancers. Every single shoe I've had so far has been a different brand because every time I had a problem with it. I would say, all right, you know, the back of the heel, it made my heel bleed sometimes because it was so rough. Well, okay, we'll get you into this shoe. All right, they died in a week or two. All right, we'll get you into something else. And slowly they'll say like, oh, I like this part of the shoe. The fitter will say something like, oh, we have a brand with the exact same kind of thing, but it'll have what you want in it. So slowly you'll start getting more and more of what you want. And then after a while, you'll be using the same shoe brand year after year, and you won't have to get fitted anymore because you can just order them online because you know your size, you know your width, you know what you like, and you just order them. Once you find the perfect size and once you stick and commit to a brand, never order online unless you are fitted for the specific brand and the specific model of the shoe. As I said, everything is different. You're a 4.5 in, is this block? Yes. You're a 4.5 in block Serenade. You're gonna be a 5 in Grishko 2007. You know, you're gonna be a 5.5 in Freeze. You're gonna be something else for everything. So do not order online unless you have had the shoe, tried it, loved it, perfect sizing, then you can order it. Maybe your second pair of the same shoe, or the third pair you can order it. It really is up to you then again. It is a long process. You are going to keep trying new brands. Every single time you're going to try something, you're going to keep finding problems with the shoe until one day you're going to say, okay, well, this is as close as it comes to perfection, because there is no perfect shoe. There's always going to be that little issue that you have to fix manually. But, you know, it's just how it is. So that's how basically you got to do. I also want to talk about breaking in shoes, because breaking in shoes is a big deal. I know how dancers don't do their research and they get their shoe and they're like, oh, okay, well, that's it, right? That's not it. Your shoe comes, well, that's not good representation. Where's my other shoe? Alright, your shoe comes, you see how my shoe's archy like this? I did break it in, but I'm not even putting pressure on it or anything, and it's like this. Nice and archy. They come like this. Perfectly straight. Really, really, really hard. Everything. You will not be able to squish down your box. It'll be big, round, and stiff. I will put a link below in the description of my break-in process so you can see more in depth, but what I do is I bend the shank a little bit, and then I step on the box to loosen it up. And then sometimes I put water. I spill water here, and then crunch it up, or wear them and run around on Pointe. Things like that that really do help. Breaking in is a necessity to be comfortable, unless you want to bleed on your toes every single day until they break in. And breaking in can be a long process if your shoe's really hard. So you do have to maybe put 2 or 3 days dedicated to breaking these in. I know that these Grishko ones I broke in over the weekend, the one that I got it. I slammed them, I stepped on them, I ran around in them, and now I found that they're the most perfect shoe for me. So yeah. Also, what I want to talk about is getting over the box. Because as I said, you know, when you have a new shoe and it's real stiff and, you know, you're having problems in them because they're so straight. And normally dancers rely on their arch to kind of, you know, as you go further away, you kind of start doing this. So people rely on their arch to kind of boost them back up. And that is important, but then again, breaking in is also important. You do not want to stand like this. You do not want to stand like this. You want to stand over. You want to see no shadow of the box. You don't want to see any evidence that you're not fully on top of it, because you need to go over your box 100% to be totally comfortable and for you to be correctly standing on them. And that's a very important tip. That's just something that I thought would be important to just mention into the video somewhere. And yeah. Another thing that I want to talk about is lengthening the life of your shoes. As I said, these ones only lasted me 3 to 4 weeks. I glued them several times, I shellacked them several times, and that did enhance the life of it. Now what you can use is jet glue, which is really famous glue, and you can put around here and around your arch area like that. This is not jet glue, so the stains, that's not from that. I use a different kind of glue, which is kind of rubbery, so like you can still stretch it around, but it'll be harder. Shellac is a wood finish and sealer. I do have a video on that as well. I will put that in the description. Also, like 4 video descriptions. Yeah, and it's basically, it hardens your shoe. And normally they put it on when it's new, but I put it on when it's perfectly broken in. So it tries and stays as perfectly broken as long as possible. So that's really important, and I think that's a very touchy topic, so things like that can help out. My next subject is padding and taping. There's a lot of different kinds of paddings available. Like you have the where's my fluff? You have lamb's wool, which is something like this, like it's just some cottony stuff. You have lamb's wool pads that look like this, but lamb's wool. You have gel, silicone, all these things, all these great things that help you out. And these you should probably get fitted. You should definitely actually get fitted with the ones you're gonna buy. So if you do not like how they feel in the fitting, and don't buy this shoe unless you try it on with the right one. So don't say, oh, I'll just buy different padding and I'll just use that shoe. Don't, because every single tiny little measurement matters. So if you even go to a little thicker, something thicker, your shoe will not fit. If you go a little something thinner, your shoe will be probably a little bit saggy or too loose. So these things are really important. Very, very important. A little tip is that if you feel like your padding is too small for your shoe and then you kind of freak out, like, what do? I can't return it. What do? You can cut the tip of a sock and add that on. That'll be a tiny layer, but it'll make a big difference. Let me tell you about that. Really big difference. You can also tape your feet, which is something that I do. I have this little thingy like this of tape and my little pink scissors, especially for my dance bag, because I get blisters all over my feet, and it's really important to keep your feet healthy so that when you get older you won't have as many problems in your feet as somebody who does not take care of their feet. Another thing I want to talk about is your dance bag. Dance bags seems like a real weird topic in this video, but my dance bag was this big when I had flats. You will probably go up to something like this. Yeah. This has my flats, my couple stretching items. That's it. This one contains 2 pairs of pointe shoes, my padding, TheraBand to help me before class so my feet don't cramp. I have 2 to 3 tennis balls for cramping as well. I have rosin powder, I have band-aids, I have a package of Neosporin, I have my little tape with my cool little scissors. Sometimes I have up to 2 rolls in a bag. I keep my stitch kit in there, just in case little malfunction goes on. What else do I keep in there? I keep a water bottle. You know, adding it up, you kind of do need something pretty big. You know, your hair essentials, your tights, maybe like alongside that you have to keep everything in your old bag, like your little turning pads, your flats, your things like that, and it'll just add up to something like this. So I suggest you get a really nice bag because this is what you're going to be using for a long time. So that's also really important. To relieve cramping, you can watch my TheraBand video, things like that, or my getting ready for dance video because I do have something with a tennis ball and stuff like that. So that's important, so you should check it out. So these are also essentials of dance, so it's really important to have things like that. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Comment down below if you got through this whole video because I highly doubt that. I'm out of breath from videotaping it. Alright guys, thanks again for all your support, and I really hope you have the best of luck with your pointe shoes, and I hope that you find the perfect one faster and quicker than you thought you would. Thanks for watching.